Okay, so in this video, I shall be discussing with you all about the calibration of gravity model. I suppose you are aware that we have been solving problems on gravity model. The next step we need to move on is towards calibration of the gravity model. Now, whenever you have a gravity model to be used for the trip distribution process, these models need to be calibrated to the place where you are thinking of doing the planning. And hence those models or equations need to be calibrated, which includes certain factors to be replaced or improvised depending upon the situation that is there in terms of travel. So the process of determining the travel time factor as well as the adjustment factor, which is the zone to zone adjustment factor, need to be done. So the calibration process basically includes the so the calibration process basically includes the determination of travel time factor, that is Fij, and the zone to zone adjustment factor, that is Kij. So Fij and Kij are the two factors which need to be improvised and calibrated, and that is what is being explained in 5 different phases, which I'll be discussing little ahead. So this Fij, it actually expresses the area-wide effect of spatial separation between the zones. So this is basically representing the spatial separation. And also on the other hand, you have Kij, which need to be calibrated and altered, which is the zone to zone adjustment factor, and it also accounts to the social and economical factors influencing the travel pattern. So this is all actually happens in calibration process. This is what you need to keep in your mind, that we are concentrating on the spatial separation factor, that is Fij, and the zone to zone adjustment factor. So the various phases which are included in the calibration process are being divided into 5 different phases. The first phase includes various steps into it, which actually begins with the data processed for the areas, which is basically in terms of travel pattern and then the transportation facilities. Now you would be collecting these travel pattern and transportation facilities existing in the region to provide certain input to the gravity formula. Now these inputs might be in the form of zonal trip production, zonal trip attraction, and then spatial separation. Now these two, that is zonal trip production and attraction, are usually represented in the form of OND matrix. Later alongside, you will also be studying the network, and you will be doing the investigation about the driving time and then terminal time for the region, and also the interzonal and interzonal travel time would be derived. So during the first phase, you will be collecting all the information and trying to frame it in the form of inputs that need to be put into the gravity formula. So the second phase actually includes the basic survey trip data analysis. Whatever trip data you have acquired through the survey or inventories would be analyzed through suitable technique, and the table for zone to zone movement for each trip purpose would be built, and then the effect of trip length and trip making is studied by the help of trip length frequency distribution, and then the 1 minute travel time increment for each trip purposes would be analyzed individually. So that is what happens in phase 2. Next, in phase 3, the development of travel time factor and the initial travel time factor are assumed based on the previous studies which are being carried out in other similar cities or areas wherein the planning is already being carried out. So basically here you will be developing or you will be assuming a suitable travel time factor for the region for which you are trying to do the planning based on the previous experiences where the travel time factor would have already been determined, okay, which might be of similar size or characteristics or behavior. So it's like you are trying to borrow the travel time factors from the region which are already been planned, which has similar characteristics as that of the new region where you are trying to do the planning. Then the trip interchange would be later calculated using the gravity model formula or the gravity model equations based on the data of whatever you have collected. It might be zonal trip production or zonal trip attraction, minimum part travel time, or the assumed travel time factors. Then, once you have done this, the estimation of trip length frequency distribution for each trip purposes would be carried out. And this would be by combining the initial estimate and the minimum travel time paths for the region where you are doing the transportation planning. Okay, so that process will be with the help of combining the initial estimate of the trip interchanges and the minimum time path. So based on these two, you will be estimating the trip length frequency distribution for each trip purposes. Now there might be different trip purposes. It might be for education, it might be for business, or it might be for recreation. Depending upon your need of a particular purpose, you need to combine them. Then comparison of the actual trip length frequency distribution and estimated trip length frequency distribution is made by number of iterations, as we have already carried out in the examples what we saw in the previous videos. Then you will be moving on to the next phase, which is phase 4, wherein the zone to zone adjustment factor Kij is developed, accounting for socioeconomic linkages. Now, basically, these zone to zone adjustment factors will be varying from place to place, and according to those data that are being collected during the inventories corresponding to social and economical linkages, you will be finding out the zone to zone adjustment factors. And then the topographical barriers also will be estimated in this particular phase, that is phase 4. Next, the last phase, that is phase 5, is where the calibrated gravity model is tested to simulate the existing travel pattern. It's basically you are doing a test of the equation that is being calibrated uh, to see whether the equation really works well in the region or no. And once you assure that the gravity model, whichever gravity model you have selected, whatever it is, once it is being assured that it works well, that is where you can decide that you can move ahead with the distribution process. So that is what is about the calibration process of gravity model. Okay. Now, this was all about gravity model and the explanation on gravity model. The gravity model, as you are aware, is considered to be as the first type of synthetic method of trip distribution. The next method, what we have under synthetic methods of trip distribution, is Tenar's model. So on similar grounds, as we have worked for gravity model, there was a person named Tenar who actually developed a modified version of gravity model with certain observations which were made by him. So Tenar's model actually suggests that the inverse of nth power, that is 1 divided by dij raised to n. So this is the spatial separation, as we have already discussed in the previous videos. So if you remember, um, in the gravity model equation, the general equation has dij raised to n in the denominator. So the inverse of the nth power in gravity model is observed not to be giving valid estimate for very small cities or extremely large cities, or places where you have zone separation which is very small, or zone separations which are very large. So under such circumstances, the gravity model is observed not to be given a reliable estimate. That is where Tenar he tried to give or propose a new function somewhat like this. Okay, where you have uh, lambda and n, which are the constants, and then this new factor was introduced by him. Rather than having just 1 by d raised to n, he introduced one more factor in the numerator, which is e raised to lambda multiplied by d. So I'll tell you what this factor is about. So mathematically he tried to represent his expression like this. So Tij, this can be small tij or even capital Tij depending upon the requirement. So Tij or T1 to 2 is equal to m multiplied by P1 P2, again E1 to 2 raised to minus lambda d divided by the spatial separation between zone 1 and zone 2 multiplied by 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. Again this is one single factor. So here T12 is the number of journey per day between zone 1 and zone 2. M is a constant, and then P1 and P2 are usually populations. This P1 and P2 are usually populations. So P1 is the population for zone 1, P2 is the population for zone 2. Then you have this D12, which is the distance between zone 1 and zone 2. Now this distance or the spatial separation can be in terms of cost, or in terms of time, or even in terms of distance, measurable distance. Then you have these C1 and C2, which are again constants, where C1 can be determined using this equation. On similar grounds you can determine C2. So C1 is equal to summation of Pj multiplied by e raised to di to j. Okay, so this is how you will be getting the constant C1 and C2 depending upon what population you have for zone 1 and zone 2, right? So this was the expression given by Tenar. So Tenar's model is considered to be as the second model coming under the synthetic models of doing trip distribution. The first one was gravity model, second is Tenar's model, and on the other hand you have the third type of model, which we call as the opportunity model. Now this is actually based on the statistical theory of probability, wherein you will be having a probability of a trip taking place, or a trip being made from one zone to the other zone, and depending upon that you will be doing the distribution. So this is actually based on the statistical theory of probability. Now it was actually proposed by a person named Schinder, and he developed two well-known models. One is what we call as the intervening opportunity model, and the other one is the competing opportunity model. So the general form of the opportunity model mathematically was represented by Schinder somewhat like this, where capital Tij, that is the future number of trips that are going to take place between zone I and zone J, is equal to Oi multiplied by P of Dj. Okay, so OI is actually the total number of trips originating in zone I, whereas PDij is the probability of trip terminating in zone J. So this is the probability factor that you have in this equation. Okay, so OI is the total number of trips originating in zone I. Some places they might represent it as Pi also, but in this text from where I have uh, taken these equations, the author has considered OI to be the number of trips originating in zone I. Whereas this P should not be mistaken with the trips, but it is the probability of a trip terminating in zone J. Okay. Now here this probability is dependent upon the total trip destinations that are attracted to zone J. So these destinations within the parenthesis is influential to obtain the probability of trips terminating in zone J. So this dj is the total trip destinations attracted to zone J. So this is the general expression of opportunity model which was proposed by the person Schinder. Okay, now we shall be discussing these two individual types of well-known opportunity models. The first one would be about the intervening opportunity model. So the intervening opportunity model, the basic hypothesis here is that the trip interchange, that is capital Tij, is directly proportional to the number of opportunities and destinations in the zone or region where the attraction is taking place, and this capital Tij is inversely proportional to the number of intervening opportunities. It's like the total number of future trips between I and J is directly proportional to the opportunities at the destination and is inversely proportional to the intervening opportunities before you reach the destination. For example, if you are moving from, if the trip is getting generated from zone I, the destination is zone J. Okay, so the future number of trips happening between zone I and zone J is directly proportional to the opportunities in zone J. Now in between zone I and zone J, if there are some intervening opportunities or some attractions, then the destination where you need to reach might get influenced. So Schinder proposed that the shorter trips become longer when the destinations are not found at shorter distances. I repeat, this is a very important sentence. The author or the person who developed this particular opportunity model proposed that the shorter trip becomes longer when the destinations are not found at shorter distances. So the connectivity plays an important role here. So depending upon the way in which the zones are connected, the shorter distances also or shorter trips might also become longer when those destinations are not found easily around you. Alongside, the probability of finding an acceptable destination is say constant L, and if you have this particular probability being made mathematically, it represents somewhat like this. So capital Tij is equal to Ti multiplied by PR of Sj, where PR Sj is the probability of trips ending in zone J. So this is similar to the expression, the general expression which was given by Schinder. Now diagrammatically he tried to express this process in this form. So this diagram represents the boundary of the total destinations, and this shaded portion is say zone J, and this particular portion is say zone I. The distance between zone J and zone I is say distance based on travel time, and then the inner boundary what you have here is the cumulative destination opportunities D, and the mid portion or the shaded portion is the destination opportunities in zone J. So depending upon this, whatever explanation I gave here can be made looking at this particular diagram in a much easier way. Okay. So considering an urban area with destination in order of the travel time, here he has considered the spatial separation between these two zones as travel time. So considering the urban area with destinations in order of travel time, D would be the capital D would be the cumulative destination opportunities up to zone J. Similarly, DJ would be the destination opportunities in zone J, and PRS of J will be decreasing as the distance from zone J and zone I increases. Okay, if this distance increases, then probability of Sj to take place will decrease as the distance between them increases. Okay, so mathematically it is represented in this form, wherein if PRSj is equal to e raised to minus LD minus e raised to minus D plus Dj, then Tij would be calculated using this. So in the general form, capital Tij is equal to Ti multiplied by PRSj. That is what it means. So this is the expression which was developed by Schinder about the intervening opportunity model. In all these discussions which I have been making in this video, you just have to remember the basics about the models along with the equations and the diagram. That's all. You will not be having problems to be solved based on these models. So the explanation can be asked in the examination. Now these strips which you have found out, that is Tij, are later stratified into different sections. Sections like short trips, long residential trips, non-residential trips which are again long, and accordingly you will be having different factors of L, this L. Okay, it will be different for different types. So the disadvantage about this particular model is that the future value of L are difficult to evaluate as per your requirement. Now there's a problem which can be seen in Dr. L.R. Kadiali's textbook in page number 700, problem number 32.6. You can go through this problem in the later stage. I'll just show you how the problem looks like. This problem. So this is the problem I have been talking about, wherein you will be given an OD matrix and the zonal L factors would be given. Okay, corresponding to the zone numbers, you will be having the L factors. You need to use these equations, the equation which was discussed here in this video, and correspondingly you will be doing the calculations, and then finally you will be doing the trip distribution. Okay, so you can go through this problem. It's a very simple problem, um, but this kind of a problem might not be asked in the examination. Might be asked and might not be asked, it depends. So it's better you just go through this problem. There's nothing complicated into it. You just have to substitute the values in this equation and do the distribution like the way we did in the previous examples. So that's about intervening opportunity model. Now there are certain important notes that you need to remember here. The destination total can be further adjusted depending upon the number of iterations that you are going to do, as in how the iteration number changes or gets increased. Okay, you might have to adjust the factor. Okay, that is the destination totals. So that adjustment need to be done by using this general equation djm. M represents the iteration number, is equal to dj divided by cjm minus 1 multiplied by dm minus 1. Now this is similar to the adjustment factor what we did in the previous examples in gravity model. Okay, so djm is the adjusted destination total for iteration m, and this dj is the desired destination total. Djm minus 1 is the destination total for the previous iteration number, and cjm minus 1 is the actual destination again in the previous iteration number. Now this was all about intervening opportunity model. Next we shall discuss about the competing opportunity model, which is again similar to the ones what we have studied about the intervening opportunity model. Okay, so talking about the competing opportunity model, the probability of trip chosen at random from I to J, where I is the origin and J is the destination, actually depends upon the ratio of the trip opportunities in zone J and the total number of competing opportunities in zone J within a given time boundary. Okay, so mathematically it represents like this. So capital Tij is equal to Ti multiplied by probability of Sj to take place, where PRSJ, this PRSJ is equal to PRAJ multiplied by PRSJ. So PRAJ is the probability of attraction to zone J, which is again given by the ratio of dj and dk. Okay, now these are the denotions which you need to remember. Again, it's similar to the intervening opportunity model, and this PRSJ is the ratio of these two factors, where you have the factor Dn, which is the opportunities of the time bound, which is in terms of n or represented in terms of n for the total study area. Okay, now this is slightly complicated to calibrate, or this particular model is slightly complicated to calibrate because of the difficulties in selection of the time bonds. Okay, so it depends upon the range of accuracy that is needed by you in doing the distribution process. So this is the graphical representation of the same equation, just similar to the intervening opportunity model. So I think this is the end of trip distribution chapter. In case if you have any doubts in any of these models, then you can get in touch with me. The next video would be to discuss about the next chapters, that is the trip assignment and then modal split analysis.